Hello everyone, welcome to Nerds in a Box, episode 12.
Yep.
Tonight we're talking about cosplay. But first, I'm John Dwyer.
Dan Kiefer.
Tessa Barlotta.
Hi. And introducing our special guest for this podcast episode.
Hi, I'm John Cerabino from Moderately Okay Cosplay.
Woo.
Please send help. I am here against my will.
You don't know that.
You said there would be food.
You got water.
There's water. That's enough, right?
Stay hydrated.
Yep.
Let's stay hydrated.
Thanks, Dan. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about cosplaying tonight. We're going to be asking both Tessa and Cerabino questions because Dan and I know nothing about it. Yes! So, we're going to be talking about that. John Cerabino also wanted to talk about Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U, which comes out this coming Friday.
Whoop, whoop.
So, we'll always take any excuse ever to talk about it.
Oh, most definitely.
So,
that is why I'm actually here. Otherwise, I probably would have taken the night off.
no, you're here because you film things and then you fix everything in
I was gonna
post.
say, we wouldn't have a show without you, sir.
Okay.
So, don't sell yourself short, Dan.
Aww.
Uh-huh.
That's a short joke.
Unintentional.
Carrying on.
And then we're going to be talking a little bit about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Flash. Because there's new developments on that are going to be huge.
But nothing on Arrow because there's nothing that can develop from that much brooding.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later for you guys. I just wanted to move things on. Is that funny? This is why I don't talk that much,
Just
guys.
the way you're like,
Kansas like, I am a father. Shut up, children.
So anyway, first, we also want to apologize for not having a podcast last week. Tessa was off exploring colleges in the Northeast.
Where it was cold. It was beautiful.
But it was cold.
It was cold.
So, you were exploring colleges.
Are you telling me a full-time position is opening up on this podcast?
Potentially, we'll be talking about that later.
Maybe. We're working through that. I'm busy trying to graduate next month, and then Dan is doing Dan things. So, you're filming things.
Growing his beard back.
You're growing your beard back.
We couldn't be on here last week because I was in the beard growing process.
It came back pretty nicely.
Thank you.
So,
Yours isn't looking too bad.
well, alright. Anyway, so, on to cosplay. So, John, this question is asked
Yes,
a lot.
John.
Yes, John.
Yes, John.
John.
John. Anyway,
It's like
go
Between
on.
Two Ferns episode.
So, how did you get into cosplay?
Everybody asks that question.
Usually pants first, then top half. Sorry,
At least you have a method. That's good for you.
please cut this out. No, how did I get into cosplay?
Why'd you decide to just do it?
Because I wanted to be Draven from League of Legends when he came out in 2011, and I was like, was it 2012?
I was going to say, has it really been 3 years since he came out?
2012, yeah, 2 years, crazy. But it came out and I was just like, I want to dress up like this character, but it's July and Halloween is nowhere near now, so I'm going to make this costume, but for what? And one of my friends was like, well, go to a convention. And I was like, I have never been to one. So I went, I had a great time, even though my costume was god-awful, and, I had fun, and everyone recognized me, and it was just nice, and then I was like, well, I saw these great cosplays, I was like, I want to improve, I want to get better, I want to be like these people, I want people to think like, I'm good, and I want to be happy with my cosplays, like, first and foremost, I want to be happy with the work that I do, and I want to be all of these characters I've always dreamed of being, and that's why I started cosplaying.
Awesome.
What was the hardest part about getting started?
Getting started is the hardest part. It's taking a costume and saying, how do I make this go from, like, if you're going to be Link, how do I take this from being a figure into a reality? Like, where would you even begin? Like, it's not even, and this isn't even done, like, say you had something like Samus, you have a daunting cosplay in front of you, a full armor cosplay. Where do you even start? Do you start with the shoe? Do you start with the body? Do you start with like the helmet? Where do you begin? And that's very. It's just very hard. It's not an inaccessible hobby, granted, but it is pretty hard to start.
High learning
I think.
curve.
I think there's
It's
a very high
challenging.
learning curve at the beginning. It's kind of like this and this. You know, it's going from how do I do this
Yeah.
to how do I polish this? You know.
True.
Okay.
I guess,
So-
yeah, because I guess essentially what you're doing is you're creating something. So like
Right.
that's hard for anyone to do. It's just be like, how do I create this out of what I don't have right now, or what I do have?
Right.
And that's another thing that I always find difficult is like, you were telling me, you know, like, oh yeah, if you want this, you just like take this, and you take this, and you put it together, and you got this. And I'm like, how do you do that? How do you learn how to like create stuff? Like with your Squall cosplay, you have the gunblade.
Yeah, and remember, you're talking to people who are like, we're going to do a podcast. What should we do? We taped cardboard boxes together. That was our great engineering feat.
Anyone-
Hey, that took hours. Okay?
That did take surprisingly long.
I mean, anyone, you know, you go to Toys R Us, you get a gun, you get a blade, cut
Yeah.
the barrel off, cut the blade off, put them together, bam, gun blade. But you know, and when you're starting, you know, you're like, this is awesome, I have a gun blade, and you know, it falls apart, and you're sad, but whatever, super glue, yay. But when I cosplayed Squall, I was like, well, I can't find a blade with his like lion pendant etched into it, like. What do I do? And at that point, you're like, I have to make this out of raw materials. So that's pretty much where it is. I think that was my biggest transition of not trying to find what looks like this that I can modify, turning from that to I have all of these raw materials and I'm going to make them into this. I'm going to make this high-impact gym flooring into Iron Man armor, you know, and that is... I feel like that's a big turning point for like anyone who like learns and gets better at cosplay, you know, is doing things like that. So, not to say that splicing two things together isn't sometimes the easiest and best like route you can go.
I think you kind of find yourself moving towards that, though. Like, I know my first couple of cosplays were just kind of amalgams of what I already had around, and maybe I'd make one or two things, but it wasn't. But after like going to a con and seeing all the amazing things that are there, you find yourself wanting to actually make it, just putting your own stamp on it, interacting with the work and the characters that you love so much. So I feel like that's kind of a big part of cosplay, is making it your own, not only being a part of it, but also like, this is my version of this character.
Well, then you were saying earlier that like the big part of it that people sometimes don't realize is that you have to become that character. It's not like you're doing like, as you said, homage.
I think there's two sides of it. I think there's like, you know, oh, this is my version of that character, like your steampunks, your Victorian, things like that. Like a lot of people like to do that. Like, I'm going to be steampunk Iron Man, and like it's cool, you know, like that takes a lot of imagination because it's your own design. You know, I do that. There's a skin in League of Legends. It's for the female character Battle Bunny Ribbon, and I took that tights, bunny suit, and all, and combined that with Draven to be Battle Bunny Draven, which, you know, it's not a canon character.
Yeah.
It should be. If you're listening,
It should
and
be.
you have, and you know that you can get that done. You do it. But and so there's but yeah, that's I like to become the character. You know, you're like, I want to be this character. I want to pay tribute to them in the best way possible by like actually becoming that character, you know. So there's and to do that like on myself, and that's obviously not a rule I impose on anyone because I can't tell anyone how to cosplay. You should never tell anyone how to cosplay, how to think, how to feel about it, etc. But for me, it's this character is established, and I want to do them the justice they deserve. So, you know, some people like let's say go back to Link. You know, you could just wear like a white shirt and then green tunic and then do the Link hat and whatever. But Link in what is it? The new Hyrule Warriors game has chainmail. And, you know, to sit there and, like, link chainmail together, a friend of mine did it, and I feel like that's really, like, you are becoming that character by stringing your chainmail together. Like, you are going down to the nitty-gritty details to really be that character. So, and I think that'll really show, you know, if you put that love and that passion, you know, that really shows, so.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, especially your Draven cosplay goes over really well because you dedicate yourself to the character. Like, you become that character when you when he put on.
And I don't understand why people like that, because Draven is like, he is a douchebag.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
He is all about himself. But being that character, and people know that character, like at MegaCon this past year, I would get in front of other League of Legends cosplayers while they're taking pictures, because it's not single pictures, obviously, when they're taking that, but like hallway shots. If there's a group of League of Legends characters, I'll run up and get in front of them, because it's like the League of Draven. He's pompous and he's self-centered. And so, like, getting into character that people are like, oh, that's so Draven. So, you know, that things like that are fun. But, you know, with characters like Squall, it's like, how do I get into character? Do I just brood? Do I sit in a corner? You know? So it's, some characters are easier than others, and there are times when it's appropriate to be in character and times where it's inappropriate to be in character. So, you know,
don't want to make little kids cry.
Like if you're cosplaying as Thor and you go to a cafe, you probably shouldn't break all of their
don't smash their
You
glasses.
don't
Or do. If you're a Thor's size, I don't think anyone's going to tell you to stop.
Yeah,
so.
sure. No,
Or at least
Do
like,
that!
throw them some money for the glasses you bring.
Yeah,
I know.
right.
Break glasses at diners.
we don't endorse.
BYOG.
Nerds in a box condones
Whoa.
breaking glasses
It's
at
cool, I'm
diners
gonna cut
if you're
that.
dressed as
No.
Thor.
Oh, you can cut that?
I'm actually gonna overlay it with John like plugging us for something.
I am so glad. I'm so glad you can fix everything in post. man.
Everything.
Thank God for
Everything.
your post
You know,
powers.
that's like one of my favorite things to walk around in was Winter Soldier, because like the mask I had over my face and the black, like people move. Like I was at Dragon Con, there's thousands. It was Saturday. There was so many people there, and people moved. They moved out of the way to get out of my way because I looked so scary. I was like, all of the power.
Yes.
All the power. It was great.
Well, speaking of, I mean, you're talking about like some memories you had about it. What's your favorite cosplay?
Space Dandy.
Space Dandy.
Space Dandy.
It's the hair.
It's the hair.
Yep.
It's a comfortable one too. I like comfortable cosplay.
Yeah.
So
I've seen the pictures. It does actually look really comfortable.
I would actually dress like that every day. Sans pompadour.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But I
You're
would
getting to
actually.
the-
It's like a t-shirt, belt, jean, like slacks, and then a track jacket.
I was gonna
So,
say it looks
Yeah,
it looks very comfy.
It's very.
I mean,
comfortable.
like John, you're getting close to like growing a pompadour.
Yeah.
if you give me,
Is that what you're doing right now? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yes.
Okay.
Not because of that, but because no, totally not.
Because,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, what about you, Tessa? What's your favorite? You
Um,
knew this question was coming.
I did, and I
So-
want to change a little bit my answer.
Okay.
Because I want to split it in two parts. Because my favorite one that I ever made was Steampunk Two-Face. Because I slaved away on it and I did the research. It was an Edwardian pattern that I made from scratch, and I was so proud of it. And I altered it to fit me and everything. And people could actually tell what I was, which I was actually very excited about that. Because I was like, how do you make a Steampunk Two-Face that people actually know?
Yeah.
But the one that I had the most fun doing this year was a post-apocalyptic Buttercup. That was
that one was sweet.
the most fun I think I've ever had. Especially, we had one little girl, cause it was mostly like adults who like came up like, oh, we figured out, because it was me and my friends Allison Prouty and Austin Edwards as Bubbles and Blossom, who were together, and I made a decapitated Mojo Jojo head that we carried
pretty
around on a
perfect.
chain. And but there was one little girl who got really excited by our very violent rendition of Powerpuff Girls, and I was actually kind of proud of that.
It's like, yes.
Corrupting America's
You.
youth, one at a time.
Good job, little girl.
Way to go, Tessa.
So yeah, it was good, and my hair worked out really good for that one too, because I didn't have to.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, you didn't have to do anything
Mhm.
for that. You know, that was sweet, and like, you guys have already seen that when we posted it for Dragon Con a few weeks back.
I mean, I still thought it was great that you could like actually cover up the fact that you shaved your head. Like last podcast that we had where you were pretending to be Dwyer, you just like covered it. And I'm just like, I don't understand how that works.
You just,
Physics, I defy.
you can grow it back.
just like the
My
Go back.
superpower.
Yep. It's an interesting superpower.
Mhm.
Well, on the flip side of that, what's the hardest cosplay you've had to do?
Probably remaking Draven, and I know you'd think that, oh, you've done it once, you know, how could it be hard? And it's, when you look back at something and you say, every single thing I did sucked, and you have to redo the cosplay from the ground up, then, you know, it's a big challenge. And I was like, I could probably do this in, like, I have an understanding of the character, I have an understanding of this, I've learned a lot over the past year, because I did them a year apart. I was like, I could probably knock it out in 2 weeks. I was so wrong. It took me 2 months of like consistent work every day just to knock it out, just because like all the details, little nuances, and I was working with like new materials too, so it took a while. So, but that was probably the hardest and possibly one of the most rewarding as well. So
Yeah, because you were saying that you have a side-by-side.
I do have a
comparison.
side-by-side comparison.
So you can check that out on his page, Moderately Okay Cosplay, in case you missed it at the beginning. And we'll provide a link to it as well on top of this video.
Yes.
So, and for you, Tessa.
A link.
Yeah, thank you. Speaking of hardest cosplay, what's the hardest one you had to do?
Winter Soldier. Not for anything else but the arm, because I really wanted to be able to move it, and I wanted it to look at least mostly real and still be made of fabric, because I am terrible at all the stuff. I'm sure you're good, like the making the foam pieces.
I'm terrible at
I'm so bad. I'm so bad at it. So I made it out of pleather pieces, and they kind of like made them scales on top of each other. But the way I had to make the individual pieces, wrap them in silver, sew them onto the thing, and then hand sew them down on top of each other took so much longer than I thought it was going to. And then when I finished it almost, it was too small for my arm, and so I had to resize it again. And I kind of wanted to die a little bit, but it was good. It ended up being really good, and it was one of the best arms I saw. So that was nice.
Did you finish that the night before you left?
No, it was like 2 weeks before.
Oh.
But it was still, like, I got better at it. I made like
cosplays 2 weeks
I was like, John, you're shaking your head. Are you used to like some last minute stuff?
At Dragon Con, I was Caitlyn from League of Legends, the male version. I was painting my gun the morning of in my hotel room. I had a shoot that day too with like these big photographers from California, and like all these like big cosplayers are in it. And I was painting my gun and like hand sewing my hat in my room that morning. So yeah, the good things.
Good things.
I'm a good role model. My motto is that everyone does their best cosplay work in the week before the con.
That's true.
Because you're like, wow, I have procrastinated for the last 6 months, and the con is almost here. So,
I mean, I feel like that's
a good point.
That's with like everything that I guess you could kind of consider a hobby, or even if it is a job. Like whether it's like editing films.
You wouldn't know anything about editing films.
Oh,
yeah.
Or finishing editing films, I should say.
But like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's gonna procrastinate until, let's say, they have a deadline. The problem with most of my films, they don't have deadlines.
So
yeah, everyone does their best work under deadlines.
Exactly.
Yeah, everybody
exactly.
does.
Everybody needs deadlines.
I completely agree.
Did we really come to that conclusion after that question I
Oh my
just
God,
asked about
yes,
artist
I did.
cosplay?
That's because that was a
Well,
deep
no, it gets
question,
the
John.
point.
It was
No, 'cause
deep.
True.
I did that my first Dragon Con. I was up till 6 a.m. and I think we left at 9 that day, like the morning before we left. And I was still sewing in the car on the way there. And I think I finished sewing Alex's Rorschach hat like that night before he wore it. And so I was like, I'm not doing this again. I want to be able to sleep at least a little bit.
Never again.
Yeah, I always
So I
say
started-
never again, and
I still did it.
Next con.
next we'll see what I come up with. You know?
But I did paint the Mojo Jojo head the week of. I did do that.
That is a pretty sweet Mojo Jojo head.
I should have carried him out here. He looks very creepy.
Well, speaking of cons, if people want to see some of your cosplaying skills in action, are there any future cons you're going to?
Locally, Florida, I'll be at Holiday Matsuri, December 10th through the 12th, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but that's when I think it is. And then after that, I will be at MegaCon in April. So, if you'd like to see me and you're from Florida, go there. If you're not from Florida, I will be at KatsuCon in Maryland in February, PAX East in Boston in March, and for sure going to Dragon Con for every year until I can't make it there, because that is the best convention. So.
Oh, and you were saying earlier you had a lot of good references for like cosplay tutorials and stuff.
Oh, cosplay
good
tutorials.
one.
Cosplay. Do you want to learn how to improve your cosplay? Well, I'm here to help. No, but go to Google. Google, obviously, cosplay tutorials, whatever you're looking for. Like when we were talking about the gun blade, I had never made a sword in my life, and I looked up cosplay sword tutorial. Look at you guys planning your drinks together.
It's not on purpose.
Yeah, you
Was
looked at
it
each
not
other
on
and then
purpose?
planned it. Okay. But cosplay tutorials. But if you're looking to make armor, like you see these kind of like, how could I make this armor? Kamui Cosplay, Kamui space cosplay. She is a German cosplayer that is pretty much the reason Warbler, the thermoplastic material a lot of people make their armor out of, she's pretty much the reason it is mainstream and popular in conventions. She has a series of 3 books about armor making and armor painting. Yeah, it's 3 books, and definitely check those out if you're looking to make armor. And then Punished Props, like the Punisher, but Punished. Punished Props, he takes the high impact flooring I was talking about to like make Iron Man suits and stuff. He talks about that. It's called EVA foam, EVA foam, and he talks about how to make props with that and then how to paint them. And he has a 3-book series as well. And all the books are only like $3 each. They're PDF books, $3 each, and I don't get any commission from this, so like you think this guy's trying to sell me something, but no, definitely check him out. There's so much helpful information on there, and YouTube and Google. Like if you want to do something, someone has probably already done it. Not saying like the character or whatever, even though it is likely that the character you want to cosplay has been cosplayed.
True.
But if you want to do something, the bases and the techniques that you're looking for are somewhere on the internet. Just takes a little bit of research.
It is a magical place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess finishing up the cosplay discussion, what's the most rewarding cosplay that both of you have done?
Or at least the most rewarding thing
thing,
about
yeah.
cosplay.
True, yeah, or most rewarding thing. I'll let you pick.
As definitely the most rewarding thing about cosplay is definitely if I went back and told like 8-year-old me, hey, you're gonna be Squall from Final Fantasy VIII. My brother played that. My older brother played Final Fantasy VIII when it came out. And I used to watch it with him, and I was like, these people are so cool. I want to be Squall. And if I had gone back, I could show myself a picture of me as Squall. The 8-year-old me would probably just freak out. So that's probably the most rewarding. Is like becoming the characters that I've loved for like years and years and years.
So fulfilling that 8-year-old dream.
Please don't ever say
I was
that.
gonna say, Dan.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Please don't say that.
For me, I think it's the people that you meet, the connections that you make at conventions, because like you never really meet a stranger at a con, and that's what I love. Some of my favorite times from Dragon Con this year was actually both when I was dressed as Jack Frost, which I thought that was so overplayed by this point that no one would be interested in me being Jack Frost at all. But I had an Elsa run across the room to me to come take my picture because she was so excited that she found a Jack Frost. And then I had this little boy who was Bob the Builder. And he was so
That's
cute.
my favorite cosplay. They have all the tractors with them.
Mm-hmm. And he had this little like
Oh my
maroon
goodness.
helmet. And he was so shy and he was over in the
They
corner.
had actual tractors. They were killing people getting through the hallways.
But yeah, I had these extra like snowballs that I made just to like throw at people's heads because you have to go the extra mile.
Good
with
con
cosplays.
etiquette. Hit people with your props.
Yep.
Thank you. Right here.
Did you get them like stickered to like approve to go in?
No, they were in
Touch
like a
people
little pouch
without
here.
asking. Let's give more good con etiquette.
No, I didn't actually end up throwing anybody, but I did give the little boy one of my snowballs because he was over in the corner. He was kind of shy and he wasn't really talking to anybody. I was like, "Here, you want a magical snowball? It might give you some courage." And he was like, he kind of like took it from me and sat there. And I walked off. And I remember walking back across the food court later, and then I heard him yelling at his mom, like, "Jack Frost gave me a snowball!" And I was like, "Okay."
You know,
So it's moments like that that
He was happy, right? He was happy about
Yes.
that, right? Okay.
if you take this story like out of context, at a con, that's probably the greatest thing too. Is like con, like normal things that are like if you were like a boy was like walking home to his mom, yeah, some guy dressed up gave me a snowball. Like, wow, that's great. Call the police. There's a pedophile in the neighborhood. But if you do it at a con, it's okay. So
No, his dad was right there. I wasn't just giving random children stuff, but he was like being shy. It was
That's good.
cute. It was really cute. But yeah, it's connections like that that I enjoy. So
Okay.
bonding over characters.
All right. Sweet. Well, you really wanted to talk about this because you're super excited about this. Super Smash Brothers is coming out on Friday.
Smash Brothers.
Let's talk about Smash Brothers.
Let's talk about Smash
Are we
Brothers.
gonna talk about Smash Brothers?
Who are
You
and
won't.
the okay? There's like no more speculation about the roster. No more.
No.
Ridley is in. So haha, if you wanted him in there.
He is,
So-
but he's
Kinda.
not.
Kinda. He's not playable, and haha, if you thought they would do that.
Yep.
Who are you most excited to play on the Wii U? Like bar 3DS version, whatever. Who are you most excited to play as on the Wii U?
I thought we were supposed to be the ones asking the questions.
He's turned the tables.
I know.
I have
tables
turned
have been
this
turned.
box around.
I mean, aside from the given that I'm a sucker for DK, like
Yeah.
no matter what, I always love playing with him. And now that
It's
he
'cause
has,
you're both like hairy men.
but seriously, now that he has like this separate movesets to make him actually quicker on different things, I love it. Like
Yeah.
he's phenomenal in the 3DS version. I really, really, really like Chrom.
Crom.
I do.
Which one is
You
he?
like Crom? You Crom.
Not Chrom.
You want to try
No,
that
not
again,
Chrom.
Dan?
I like Crom
I like-
because he's not in the game.
I
What's
like
that
Crom.
insult to injury? Crom
During
isn't
during
in there
that final
either.
smash, my god.
Do you mean Shulk?
Shulk? Yes. Why did I
Alright.
say Chrom? They don't. Anyway.
Yeah, Shulk.
Yes.
Just
From
so Shulk.
Yes.
Xenoblade.
Shulk. I
Xenoblade.
love playing as Shulk. Just because no matter whatever the situation, you can use his first ability, like his normal B, to like change what you want to do. Whether you want to try and evade people, whether you want to just hit harder or hit faster. It's very versatile and a lot of fun to like play on the spot.
Okay, I guess I'm next.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's another old one, but Fox McCloud. You know, I'm so upset that they still
Final
have
Destination.
yeah,
Fox
all Fox,
Eight people.
3 stock,
No items.
no items.
8 people.
I'm
8.
I love Fox. The
That's so
only
scary.
thing that I'm sad about is that they still have not added an alternate costume where he's just wearing sunglasses and he's James McCloud. Because that's so easy and that'd be so perfect. But Fox McCloud, because he's my favorite Nintendo character. But actually playing as a Mii on the Wii U, because I love being able to play as like myself as a Mii fighter, because it's not like an ego thing. It's because when I was younger, I loved these games so much that the fact that I can create a Mii and I can fight alongside like Fox McCloud in Smash, and we can be on a team together and win is like a childhood dream of mine.
I completely agree with the me thing because I always thought that the Nintendo games were lacking Hank Hill from King of Video.
He brings the propane.
So I already know who the me I'm importing in is.
He's bringing the propane.
He is going to bring the propane.
So that one, and actually Bowser Jr. I
the
love
Koopa,
that.
the Koopa kids.
Yeah.
The alternate Koopa
I am
kids.
so glad that
Wow.
the Koopalings are alternate skins and
Yeah,
not
I'm
actual
so-
character slots like
I'm
what
so
they did for
happy.
Mario Kart 8.
That was a very
so-
smart fix. And
But
then, like,
also-
maybe people will like them more.
His
I-
final Smash is really cool because he adds in Shadow Mario from Super Mario Sunshine,
Mhm.
which
Which
I'm
is-
all
I-
about.
I'm really happy that they are. What am I trying to say? There,
I don't know.
Nintendo is finally realizing that Majora's Mask is
And also,
it's an awesome game, and they did announce a 3DS remake
Yes,
of
they
Majora's
did.
Mask. That is my favorite game of all time, in case you cared. But it's my favorite game of all time, and it's finally getting a good remake, not the one it deserves, or else it would be on the Wii U. But you know, beggars can't be
Take it.
choosers.
Mhm.
But they're finally realizing like that Majora's Mask and Super Mario Sunshine and these games where they branched out a little do deserve to be recognized,
Mhm.
you know, as good games, because I saw him as the painted Mario from Sunshine. I was just like, wow, that's really great. Now
Yeah.
Bowser Jr.
It
and the
looks really cool.
Koopalings was fantastic because I
Yeah.
love Super Mario World and whatnot, but yeah, I'm glad they're finally recognizing those things. So.
yeah, those are probably my top 3. So, do you have anyone, Tessa?
I haven't really researched this game at all because it is going to be the first Smash Brothers game that I will not have in my house to play, and that breaks my heart to no extent. But I always loved Sheik. She is my player. I always play
She's
her all the
a
time.
separate character now.
And
Yep, she's her own character.
Then fine, I want to play Sheik as her own character because that is one of the most irritating things in the world. Is when you're like drop into the game and you're trying to like down B to get to Sheik and everyone beats the crap out of you. And it's just like, no, don't have time for this. I'm too busy trying to kick your ass. So that would be nice. I want to
Okay.
do that.
Well, I'm I'm not biased at all in my pick for who I'm most excited to play, but it's Little Mac.
It's Little Mac.
Punch Out. Punch Out was the
That's actually
first
really cool.
game I ever played, ever on the original Nintendo, and I actually brought my Mike Tyson's Punch Out cartridge. Like, this was my brother's. My older brother had this as a kid, and he gave this to me. It was the first game I ever played when he gave me his Nintendo. And so that is like the original cartridge, like before they removed Mike Tyson and everything. And this is Little Mac's boxing glove, signed by Little Mac, is obviously real.
Is that a feature cosplay you're gonna do, by the way?
If I go to the gym.
Okay.
If I go to the gym, I'll,
You can just wear a hoodie.
well, the problem, and I've thought about this, and I'll go on a tangent about this. I've thought about cosplaying Little Mac, but and it goes back to doing justice for the character. I don't impose on anyone else. Everyone should be able to cosplay what they want, but I feel like the focal point of Little Mac's character is that he is shorter than everyone, and I'm 6 feet tall.
Okay.
So I'm from. I'm from New York.
John, help me.
It could be. You want to do
Help
Little
me.
Mac?
You want to be
Let's do
Little
this.
Mac?
Little Mac. All right, the bearded Little Mac. Perfect. But
Out of work, Little Mac.
Punch Out was the first game I ever played, and they had him as an assist trophy in the last Smash Bros. I was like, wow, this is great. And they made a Punch Out remake for the Wii, and it's my favorite Wii game because it's so true to the original and beautiful. And then they announced him for Smash Brothers, and I lost it. I was just like, there is no other character I want to play more than Little Mac.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I'm also excited to try out my old mains, Game & Watch and Captain Falcon.
Yep.
So because I want to stand on the side of a stage with 8 people and just spam Falcon Punch and hope I hit somebody.
You're gonna hit somebody if it's 8 people.
Well, what you do is
Especially
you
on stage.
gang up on your friends. So like if you and I were playing, of course we would gang up on Dan.
Naturally.
You would grab Dan and hold him there while I Falcon Punch him.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, it
I feel
does.
like I've done that before.
Yes.
Actually.
Well, I know I've definitely been on the giving end of that because I've been like Donkey Kong, of course, and like I have
A
friends.
wind-up punch.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
yes. So going on Smash Brothers, Amiibos.
Oh god.
Amiibos.
I'm gonna spend way too much money on that.
No
Way
such
too
thing
much
as no
money
such
on
thing as too much.
that. Oh.
It is worth it for Amiibos.
I'm just excited about what was it? The buy 2 get 1 free.
I believe it is or is it buy 3 get $10 off?
Oh,
I believe
okay.
it is. So it's basically buy 2 get 1 free.
That's a Toys R Us.
Toys R Us, starting next Friday. If you go to the same Toys R Us I'm at, don't.
They are mine.
Those are mine. I will be there. I will find you.
Well, I
Is that
got the.
next Friday or next?
That is this coming Friday. It starts. Yes, it'll be Friday and Saturday this week. But you can pre-order them online. Do that before Black Friday.
Yeah.
If you want an Amiibo, like really badly,
From Wave 1.
from Wave 1 at least.
Yeah.
Do it.
Get them. Yeah, it's Wave 1 consists of 12 characters, and it's like all the old favorites.
Yeah.
Most of the old favorites. Mario, Yoshi, Link, Samus, Pikachu, Donkey Kong,
Kirby.
Fox, Kirby, and then you got Wii Fit Trainer and the Animal Crossing Villager as the newcomer amiibos
His
for Wave
soulless
1.
eyes.
They did announce Shulk as a GameStop exclusive for Wave 3.
Yeah,
Oh,
as
really?
well, so.
Yep.
Xenoblade Chronicles, great game. Go play it if you haven't. It's $100 on Amazon for the
Well-
Wii. But go play it. It's awesome.
Well, I got to see the amiibos when I played the Wii U.
Did they actually have them out?
They had Mario, Peach, Pikachu, and Link.
Did they look good in person?
I thought they did.
Okay.
The only thing that I don't like about it is that when they first announced them, they had the models. The models had the clear plastic, so they were like holding them up.
Yeah.
If you get like Link, he's got like this yellow plastic that doesn't look as good, and
But
Fox is this like dark blue one.
The figures themselves look good though.
I think the figures look good. There's a lot of detail in it, especially Link.
Because a lot of people were worried when we saw like the first product and then the shots of the actual product in hand
Yeah.
that it was not detailed enough. So
Yeah.
they look good in person.
I think they do. There's more detail in them than there is like in the current Skylanders and Disney Infinity. Not that it means a whole lot, but there's still. I was happy enough with it, especially spending like $13.
Okay.
I think you're getting
Well,
exactly what.
you get $13. You gotta imagine you get $13 for like a new piece of technology that's
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be used for like you can optionally use it with all future Wii U games,
Yeah.
like or not all, but first party Wii U
Not
games.
all, yeah.
So
So I think for $13, I think it looks really good. I'm
And
quite
they
happy with
are
it.
all based on the actual trophies in Smash Bros.
Yeah.
You get for completing
which I thought was awesome.
You get that,
Yeah.
and so it's like, if you played the first Smash Brothers, it was like a trophy was thrown into an arena by Master Hand, and they fight each other. So you get these actual trophies that like everyone has wanted since we played the first one in like '99.
Yeah.
So
If only they actually had the coin base, from the game.
That'll probably be like a special
What do you mean?
edition. That
the base is the Smash Brothers sign.
Yeah, the base is the Smash
Oh,
Brothers
so
symbol.
it is the
It is on the
it
base.
is.
Yeah, it is literally
It is.
the trophies.
Oh,
from the
it's-
game.
I thought it was like the weird clear plastic.
Oh.
No,
No,
it's
no,
the
no.
it's the it's the golden Smash Brothers sign.
So
that
we're
is
super
all
excited.
it is, Yeah.
Now,
So Dan is just gonna buy all of them too.
Yeah.
So-
So don't go to my Toys R Us either.
they go to the same one.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
Well, now all they need to do now is release like the rest of their trophies, and I would buy so many of them. So
I can't afford that.
I don't think anyone can.
No, but I really hope that I think it'll catch on. I think
Yeah.
I mean if they're already announcing Wave 3 for February, I think that'll catch on.
Oh yeah.
And I really hope that it does because they still haven't announced Game and Watch as an amiibo yet.
Nope.
So Wave 4.
He's gonna be
Here's-
there.
Wave 4. Here's to hoping
Wave
because
4.
they announced Little Mac for Wave 3
Mm-hmm.
or Wave 2 maybe I don't know.
You know,
Little
what
Mac
I'm
is
going.
coming.
Yes.
I mean, my thing is like maybe they're saving different waves for different games that are going to be coming out as well.
Mhm.
Like maybe the ones that are coming out in Wave 3 have games planned for next summer. And all that
I
fun
just really hope that we do get the full Smash Brothers lineup.
Yeah.
I think it would be a real disservice.
To like not include
I
some.
think
I
it's
mean,
foolish marketing wise.
It's a disservice to fans, and that sounds like snobby, but it's because we should be grateful we're getting this in the first place. But
Right.
I think it's a disservice to your fan base that is like loving your game to not give you the full roster.
Yeah.
Like you're continuing this trend, and it will also drive my OCD crazy.
I can even imagine like how hard once they all come out. Ooh, how hard that would be to like
It's John Cerabino.
store. Yeah. How exactly? How hard that would be to store like GameStop or like Toys R Us with their shelf space.
Well,
just
it's because you have waves of them. Wave 1 is in print. When that's out of print, they're gone. Wave 2 comes in. Wave 2 is gone. Wave 3 comes in. Wave 3 is gone. Wave 4, etc., so on and so forth. So you have case revisions, things like that. But
well, we're gonna try and. I know I'm gonna be getting it this week, so
Same.
we're gonna have a review for it, or at least I will, because you two both don't have a Wii U. Dan.
Master
We'll
Race.
go sit and cry in the corners.
Yeah. I'll cuddle with my amiibo.
Dan has plenty of opportunity to get one.
Cuddle with your amiibo and we'll play Melee for
If you don't have a Wii U, Best Buy is doing a Black Friday deal for it, and I heard it's really good. I don't actually know the games that are in it, but I've heard they're fantastic.
You're doing a lot of plugging today.
Yeah, I'm trying to help people out, and
I was gonna say.
it's so weird because I don't get commissioned for any of it. So
I was
it's
gonna say,
why
not a bad
I'm
thing.
just
I'm
trying to
just
help
like,
people
oh,
out.
Just
you know?
trying to be
Alright.
resource.
We actually
just
have
trying to help.
ambassadors from Best Buy and Toys R Us watching this show
He's
right now.
pointing a gun at Dan.
Sharpshooters on the roof.
Yep.
So yeah, so we'll have a review for you next week. I for one can't wait to play 8-player Smash, even though it's gonna be a nightmare.
I
Or
saw
we'll
a video.
just storm John's house. That's what we can do.
I saw a video of 8
You
Little
can.
Macs. It was horrifying.
Wait a second.
It was 8
Of Little Max?
It
Oh,
was
I saw the video. It is
terrible.
it's gross.
They are Little Mac is literally the fastest heavy character that has ever.
Well, it's
hit the
because
stage.
he has no air game.
Right.
None.
Yep.
It's just so fun. It's weird, but it's fun to play as him.
He's got the lowest win percentage out of all the starting ones because the creator theorized that he has such a low win percentage because everyone thinks that he's overpowered already, that they play as him and they don't know how to play him, and so they lose. So that's why he's got the lowest win percentage.
Weird.
Probably.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So on to the next topic, before we go off on more tangents. I know, Cerabino, you don't care for this show, but Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay, we'll
last
talk
week.
about it, okay.
Spoilers for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and The Flash, so if you're watching it, watch them first. Yeah, fast forward through the ending. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Had a huge reveal, big episode. We're finally getting to the heart of the alien mystery, what
Which
the
is
symbols mean,
Hoping
what
again,
happened with
humans.
Coulson. And at the end of the episode, there's this guy that's hunting down, all these people that were also injected with the alien blood and who was killing them. And at the end of the episode, Coulson finds this one guy. You can probably explain about it.
Sorry, no, it was just you find out that Coulson experimented on 6 different people with the serum before he was ever injected with it, and one of them went nuts and started killing the other ones. But there's this final guy who doesn't. They've all been wiped of their memories, and he is just building like train sets for his kid, and ends up building this city. And Coulson stumbles upon this 3D rendering of
the symbols
that
drawing.
he's been seeing. Yep. So it's a city that he's been carving, and so everyone is of course screaming, "Attilan!"
Yeah, Attilan. Yep.
Which is the home of the Inhumans.
Yes,
Yep.
sorry. It's the home of the Inhumans.
Gotcha.
So it's where Black Bolt and Medusa and all of them live on the moon. But you heard a fantastic theory. Was you going to tell me about Atlantis?
Probably. Oh yeah.
I don't think that's a fantastic theory because I
think
want it
it's
to be the Inhumans.
Well, I know, but I mean,
Well,
I will get there. But I mean, that's so far
They're
down.
wondering if
Inhumans
it's
is
that
so-
or if it's Inhumans until 2018.
Yeah, it's a really long way away. So I feel like. Sorry, we're mumbling. John heard this great theory. Do you want to talk about it?
There wasn't much to it. Actually, it's just wondering if it's, instead of it being Attilan, if it's Atlantis instead.
Mm-hmm.
Although the rights to Namor, I feel like they're kind of weird in between the two.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know who has Namor right
it's
now.
like Submariner belongs to somebody else.
Okay. But they could still technically have Atlantis. It just wouldn't have. I don't know how they would do that, but it would. I just think it would be a cool exploration before we get to Inhumans. If the Atlanteans are actually Inhumans that just came to Earth, I think that would be cool.
I mean, that being said,
but I sincerely doubt they're going to do that. I just love that it's a conspiracy theory at all.
well, I mean, that being said, Kevin Feige did say that the Inhumans would appear in the Marvel Universe.
Mm-hmm.
Long before the movie came out. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that this could be their backdoor way of getting them in.
Mm-hmm.
Like we may not even meet any kind of Black Bolt or Medusa or anything. We could just see the Inhumans and then be introduced to them later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing here. Granted, Shield's still fighting Hydra.
Ward has a great storyline.
Ward has a great storyline right now.
Finally.
He looks like he's taking down agents of Hydra in order to win back Coulson's graces a little bit. I don't think he ever fully is.
More about Skye than
Yeah.
Coulson. He doesn't care about Coulson
Yeah.
anymore.
I think it's both. I mean, it's more. You're right. It's more Skye, but I mean.
I don't think he completely doesn't care.
Well, yeah.
So.
I care about Coulson.
We all do.
Well, I did until they ruined his character by bringing him back and then using him in every comic and every TV
just
show.
watch it. It gets better.
I think the problem with Coulson was in this, and don't crucify me for this, but they overused his character after they realized everyone loved him. He went into the comics. He was in the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show. He was in the Lego video game.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you get we like Coulson. That's why we were all sad when he died. And he kind of diminished that by, making him the face of your brand. But he's a good character, so.
And Clark Gregg's a sweet guy too.
Yeah,
He's
he's
great.
I was hoping there was going to be more of a retort from you.
Well, no, because I do agree that they definitely overplayed him.
No, they did.
After he died, they're like, explosion of Coulson everywhere.
You're just not on it with saying good things.
I am
today.
not. I'm not. I'm really not. But you know what I mean, though. Like
Yeah.
They put him in everything. I like the idea of him in the TV show because that kind of explains what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of having him in comics. I didn't think him in Lego. He wasn't a big part.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, Lego Marvel is fantastic and can do nothing wrong.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no,
So-
it was beautiful. I want more.
Lego everything, please.
Yep.
The
I need to
new,
get Lego
the
Batman
new-
3.
You see Kevin Smith is in Lego Batman 3.
Is he
He's
really?
a playable character in Lego Batman 3, yeah.
Oh, I love you, Lego.
Speaking of Batman, to go off on a little tangent, because I know you guys didn't have a show last week, Jared Leto, not confirmed, but
He's in talks.
rumored to be in talks. Don't even do that. Don't even do that. Jared Leto is a phenomenal actor,
No,
musician,
he
and
is.
person.
It's just.
If you say one thing about Heath Ledger, I'm flipping this
Scared.
box. I'm flipping this box if anyone brings up
Yeah,
Heath
it's just
Ledger.
like okay, guys.
No, it's
we're
not.
good.
It's nothing to do with Heath Ledger because I don't think they won't even touch that. They won't even go near
Well,
it.
it's,
Whatever.
it's because people say, well, he can't hold a candle to Heath. Well, I hope he doesn't, because Heath Ledger didn't play the Joker. He played Heath Ledger's vision of the Joker,
Mhm.
Nolan's vision of the Joker. The Joker is like someone who finds these things funny, not a twisted, crazy, hell-bent to destroy everything sociopath.
Yeah.
And it could be argued that he is, but he's more of a psychopath that thinks everything's a joke.
It was more.
You know,
he was more
so-
for the chaos. And
Yeah,
it was just an
exactly.
incarnation, and that's not what I'm worried
Mhm.
about. I'm just with the DC movies that aren't Nolan's that have come out. They have been so awful that it scares me that they will ruin a version of the Joker along with everything else that they've kind of demolished along the way.
I mean,
That's what scares me.
I think
more than
the
anything else.
only thing we have to go off for DC now is Man of Steel, and I personally love Man of Steel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, after Heath Ledger, I mean, everyone thought that Heath Ledger was going to be terrible. Like, when that was announced, everyone was like, ugh. But I love his rendition of the Joker.
I think
so.
that we should stop using like arguments against people like that, because everyone says that, like, when
Yeah.
someone gets cast, like, well, Ben Affleck's Batman, and I don't like that. Well, Heath Ledger, no one liked him as the Joker
Yeah.
because he was a cowboy before that. How could cowboy be the Joker? It's like, these people are actors.
Yeah.
This is what they do, you know, like. And I appear like, well, Jared Leto, he just got punched in the face in Fight Club, and that's all he ever did. Well,
He was just in the
Dallas
movie with-
Buyers
yeah.
Club. And he
Dallas
won an
Buyers
Oscar.
Club, and he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I mean, you gotta give these people chances. You know, you gotta give people chances. I think that DC is really going to step up their game when they see how good Marvel is doing. However, I still have my reservations about
I
it
do
because of what we're going to talk about next. How they are not using Grant Gustin and Stephen Amell from the TV shows
Yeah.
into their movies. Now, while I don't believe anyone should have to do homework to watch a movie, think of when you watched a Justice League movie and you were like, I loved Barry Allen so much, and then you find out that there is 4 seasons of a show that you can watch with him. You would be so happy.
Yeah.
Not like, I want to see more of that character. Well, go read a comic. No, like, and it's great. You know, I think that'd be phenomenal. And plus, they have really found good people for those 2 roles. So,
Well, Stephen Amell, when it was announced that they weren't linked, you know, he was like, I don't know, to recast, the Flash, he basically said that it's like, it stinks that they only gave him like 2 episodes before they made that decision. I think it could have been handled better. And then he later was like, I'm sorry, I'm just super protective of Grant Gustin because I
Yeah.
love that kid.
Aw.
And he came away from meeting with,
well, I mean, they recasted him too.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
they recasted Stephen Amell,
Yeah.
and it's like these guys. Arrow and Flash are the best thing DC has ever done outside of comic media, besides, the Dark Knight trilogy, which people hold as like the end-all be-all sacred thing until they do something right. And Dan, we all saw Dark Knight Rises
Yes, we did.
together.
we did.
And I walked out of there saying I was disappointed, in it. But I mean, like, The Dark Knight is a phenomenal movie.
Yeah.
That is one of the best superhero movies like ever. So, but people are gonna hold those like, oh yeah, these are the end all be all DC good, But like DC doesn't really do good things outside of their comic media.
Well,
They're
yeah,
animated
they're animated
films,
films.
And I'm sorry, I forgot about the animated series of like Batman, the animated series, like 90s. I'm sorry, I'm sorry because I love those.
But going back real quick, what I was saying was that Stephen Amell met with, is it Jeff Johns or is it Geoff Johns? I've
Jeff
heard
Johns.
Joffrey
Joffrey.
Baratheon, yeah.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
thank you. We came away with from meeting with him saying that I'm really excited for the movie universe. I think it's going to be great. And I know speculation is out there that they're going to do the Infinite Crisis on multiple Earths, and that's how they're going to bring in
Oh.
Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin potentially into the DC universe. Is that's like
So they'll just
the
be a
next
different
big
Earth.
event? Yeah, is that it's a different Earth, and that's how they're doing plans.
That'd be weird.
I'd be more
Because
okay
I've
with
heard they don't want to touch the TV universe at all.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
I mean, this is all pure speculation.
Well,
but
yeah.
like,
I mean, with the movie, like, what is it? Batman Superman comes out. Is it next year?
Yeah,
it's 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
2016. Like, we have so much time to, like,
Drive
whine
ourselves
about
crazy.
this.
Yeah.
There's so much time to whine about this, which is exactly what comic book nerds are gonna do. So,
That's what we're here for, guys.
yeah.
Well, speaking of the Flash, the other big thing we're going to talk about is the fact that at the end of the episode, we discovered that Harrison Wells was working with General Eiling on Gorilla Grodd.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Grodd was teased in the first
Yeah,
episode.
you
with
saw him
his
like very
cage.
briefly.
His cage was broken open, and there was a license plate that said Grodd, which,
Yep.
and I was like, good nod, they won't do it, and then
they are doing
have
it.
the gorilla, and this is why I like Flash more than Arrow, because Arrow found its footing in season 2, and then I feel like it found its footing and then dug itself into a brooding corner and just is sitting there and is brooding and brooding and brooding. And I'm honestly not current on Arrow. Like I told you earlier, I tried to watch season 3 and there's just too much Oliver Queen brooding for me.
That first episode is
So.
pretty bad with that, but the later ones
Yeah.
get better.
The second one, 12 minutes in and I had to stop. I just couldn't, it did not capture my attention. I am spoiled by Flash. I feel like, whereas Arrow was like, we have to be conservative with our superpowers and give it to Roy and then take it away.
Yep.
The Flash is like, Oprah with superpowers. You get a superpower. You get a superpower. Everybody gets a superpower. You
And
know,
then as
and-
soon as they introduce somebody with a superpower, they're gone.
well, yeah, and
Yeah.
some characters, yes, but people like, Captain Cold, he didn't get a superpower, and
Yeah.
then after that,
Heatwave.
Heatwave. Thank you. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
not Firestorm.
Mhm.
No, not Firestorm. Heatwave.
Heatwave.
Heatwave's in it, so we got the rogues going.
Mhm.
The Flash and Arrow crossover synopses were released.
Oh, I haven't read those
And
Haven't read
they say there is a villain killing people with boomerangs. So you got Captain Boomerang.
Do you know who's
Yeah.
going to do that?
So no.
Have you ever watched Spartacus at all?
Yes.
He's Asher.
Okay.
Asher from Spartacus. is
Really?
gonna do that.
I'm
Yes,
excited.
I'm
Oh,
so
man.
excited.
What?
I'm excited. And then,
Asher?
we have Stephen Amell's
Dude. I don't know who that is. I've never watched
He's a total
Spartacus.
sweetheart. I met
Yeah,
him at
okay.
Tampa
Yeah, we have
or
Stephen
Tampa.
Amell's little brother as
Miami.
Firestorm.
Robbie, yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be great. But Flash has my heart as far as I thought Arrow was good, and then I watched Flash, and I just cannot watch Arrow.
We don't like the brooding, and the Flash is like pretty much the opposite of
Well,
that.
Yeah.
Flash has the perfect amount. It's a lighthearted show with the perfect amount of smacking you in the face with feelings.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yep.
And Joe,
Pretty
Detective
much.
West,
Ugh.
just gets. He has that when he puts on that "I'm gonna make you feel bad" voice. I get my tissues ready, and I cry and I cry and I cry.
Like when he did his vocal cord trick, and he's just like laughing.
He's laughing, and
Like,
I
he's
thought
just laughing hysterically.
because in Arrow, you would have had Diggle like laughing, and I'd be like, "Ha, Oliver, you're an idiot," and then you'd be like, "Wow, I feel really bad because everyone hates each other," and then there's Felicity, you know. I love how they reference the shows, like when Killer Frost.
Oh, yeah.
What's her name?
Caitlin.
Caitlin stuff.
Yep.
When Caitlin's just like, oh my god, did I sound like Felicity? In the last episode, I was like, that's great. Like, see, that is great. They
It was
even make fun of themselves. And,
Yeah.
yeah, you guys didn't have one. Did you have an episode the week of the Felicity coming over?
Yes, we talked about it.
We
Oh, you
talked
did?
about it.
Oh, I was thinking
Talked
of
about
her
Yeah,
origin
we
story.
talked about it. 'cause
Talked
That
about
was
it.
that was awesome. I love
That
episode.
ending.
And now that I've
Right?
now that I've finally
I was like,
caught
come
up
on.
Arrow for the most part, so I'm like 3 episodes of season
Yeah.
3. All I want is just Barry and Felicity together.
I
That
could not disagree more.
really.
I feel like they gave it the absolute perfect send off from a
Okay.
character standpoint.
I can see that.
When they say, we are literally perfect for each other, but
we like different people.
We like different people we want, we can't have, because that's life.
Yep.
That is this not. It's. I understand it's comic books, but everything doesn't have to be like a comic book. It could be an allegory for life. Bless you.
Thank you.
It could be like an allegory for life. Like, hey, this happens. Even though these people have superpowers, they still have human emotions.
It humanizes
So I
it.
think the Flash is expertly written. Besides what Dan was saying, I completely agree that sometimes they'll take a person, bring them on the show, and then kill them off. Like the last one with Plastique.
Oh, so
She
sad.
comes on,
So
she comes
sad.
on, she dies, I don't care. Great. Cool. You know? But she did give Cisco one of my favorite jokes when he was just like, "Oh, they don't all look like you." That was inappropriate. I love Cisco.
Yeah.
I didn't like him when he was on Arrow, but I love him now. I love him so much.
Yeah, I
He's
see that.
fantastic. To be comedic relief for a show that is literally comedic relief,
Yeah.
It's
you've
perfect.
got to be some sort of talent.
Magical, magical, magical.
Well, we'll see what happens with that because
Yeah.
we still don't know what's up with Harrison Wells. We don't know we don't know exactly who he is. We're still speculating at this point. Like, it could be a lot of things.
It's
but,
you never know. We know he knows what happens in the future.
Yep.
Yeah.
We know he knows what happens in the future. We know that he was watching Barry when he got struck by lightning and became the Flash.
And he has no
So-
problem murdering people. There's that
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
which is good. Which is good because he is a clear bad guy.
Mm.
He has a clear bad role in the show. Is he a bad guy? You know, just because you're a bad guy does not make you
He's a bad guy.
But like, is he the clear big bad of the season? No, it's Captain Cold. Is like
Mhm.
clearly your big bad, and thank goodness, you know,
Yeah.
because we need Captain Cold because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
one of the greatest villains. And the Flash's rogue gallery is fantastic
It's
as far as DC
awesome.
goes. The rogues as
Love
a
it.
team are great.
Yeah.
So it's like the Sinister Six to Spider-Man is the rogues to the Flash.
Okay.
You know, it's
I can see that.
it's a good team.
Yeah.
It's a great team, and you know, I'm glad like they got their own comic in Forever Evil and things like that. But going back to that, is Harrison Wells our big bad of the season, or is he just there to make sure everything goes right for Barry, so that the crisis on Infinite Earths happens as it should in the future? You know, is he there to guide him? Did he cause like his mom to die, or is he just a bad guy?
Mhm.
Do we know?
We don't. So all we can do is speculate.
Yep.
So I know Captain Cold's supposed to be like the big bad relatively
He
of the
needs,
season.
he needs to be the
So-
big bad of the show. He needs to have a recurring villain role. Because as much as I liked Deathstroke being the big bad of Arrow, Arrow just borrows so much from other DC comics. Because,
Yeah.
well, and you know, you think Green Arrow, what villains does he have? Not very many memorable
Yeah,
ones.
he doesn't have
Count-
Lex Luthor.
Count Vertigo, yeah, great. I loved when he was on there. The fact that the Count Vertigo this season is literally Scarecrow. Oh, I'm gonna make you see your biggest fears. All right, Scarecrow. Like they could have called him Jonathan Crane. You know, they've already had Dollmaker in there, and he's like not an Arrow villain. So, you know, but
We'll see
and
where it
well,
goes.
we had our first shot of Laurel as Canary as
Which
well this
I-
week.
So ready for her to be written like a person. Like
I know
this last
she's
episode.
starting to get like depth.
Yes. I'm so ready, and you can tell the actress is so
Yes.
happy.
Mhm.
She's so happy that she's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I have lines that
Oh,
actually mean
Material.
something.
The
I'm
thing
not gonna
is-
cry
the
this
thing is,
episode.
I saw it, and I was like, wow, she doesn't look bad. You know, I was
Yeah.
surprised. I was like, she looks like, you know, she could be.
That was everyone's reaction. Yeah.
I was like, wow, I don't hate this.
Huh.
So while I do disagree with how Arrow, the path it's headed down, brood, hate, when Oliver Queen in the comics is a funny guy, a comedic relief guy, you know, I gotta say they usually nail it every single time with character design, like as far
Yeah.
as that goes. So
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Well, I think on that note,
Mhm.
I think
we're good.
after seeing your flash iPhone screen,
Mhm.
I think we're about time to wrap up.
Mhm.
So, you guys have anything to add?
I just want to thank John
Yes,
Cerabino
thank you.
again
Yes.
for being on our podcast.
Yes,
today.
thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
It was an honor.
And we drew you on the
Yeah,
box
he's-
Oh yeah, he's on.
with your
top.
Draven axes.
Well, one Draven X, one TF cards.
Oh.
Okay.
One set of TF cards.
Okay, that works.
Isn't he Super Saiyan? Isn't that his? Is that
Well, that's
Super
just his
Saiyan?
hair.
Okay.
So,
His hair does that, like, naturally.
not tonight.
yeah,
But so yeah, thank you for joining us. Moderately Okay Cosplay.
check it out, guys. It's really good.
It's better than you think.
It's better than moderate.
So, but we're boasting for him because
Thank
he's
you.
not going to do that himself. most times.
Ever.
Yeah, most times. So, like our video. Subscribe to us on YouTube, on iTunes,
Twitter.
Louder, Twitter, all those
Stitcher,
Stitcher, SoundCloud,
yeah.
all that.
Social media.
Things.
So
Do we tumble yet?
Tumblr.
No.
you Tumble.
We don't tumble yet.
No, we're working on
Nerds.
it.
We will be tumbled soon.
What? Nerds in a blog.
Nerds in a
Nerds in a
blog.
blog.
Come on, man.
Yep.
Well, we could actually.
It writes itself.
We'll talk about that later.
Yep.
So
Wish it did.
thank you everyone for joining us. I think that's a wrap up. So that being said, I'm John Dwyer.
Dan Kiefer.
Tessa Barlotta.
Go yourself, San Diego. Did I get it right?
Ah,
Well, bye guys.
good night everybody.